Hi, everyone. I'm Teri.
And I'm Ella. Welcome to the Chasing Red Flags podcast. Let's get real. Here, no topic is off limits.
And real beats perfect every time.
Welcome to the conversation.
Welcome to where you belong.
You're part of the family now, so let's get real together. Hi, Mama.
Hi, sweetie. How are you?
I'm good. It's getting cold over here. I don't know about in Boston, but...
No, it is cold, but you are in a tank top and you look really...
Well, I'm in my apartment right now, so...
You look really pretty in blue.
Thank you.
That's like my favorite color on you. How was the exam?
It was good. I got an A.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I just got the grade back like 10 minutes ago, so...
That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. B-Law is a hard class.
I know. I'm happy.
For those of you listening, Ella is taking business law. It is a very difficult class.
Yes, but I'm getting through it. Almost there.
I know. All right. So should we get into it?
Let's do it.
All right. Today kicks off an exciting two-part series with Shirah Benarde. She's the founder of NightCap. We dive into her journey creating a line of drink spiking prevention products, the impact of young entrepreneurship, and if you're curious about starting a business, what it takes to start a business, the obstacles that it takes to start a business, things that you might encounter along the way, this episode is for you.
So I first met Shirah on TikTok when I shared my experience of being drugged at a bar in Boston, and we just connected instantly over our shared commitment to kind of take action to the drink spiking epidemic, and I knew that we needed to have her on the podcast, so I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too.
Before we introduce today's guest, we just want to say thank you so much for being here. We truly appreciate your support. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you're a day one listener, please subscribe to the Chasing Red Flags podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to yours. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel to watch all of the episodes. All right, Mom, ready? Let's introduce Shirah.
We're so happy we could make this happen. Please welcome Forbes 30 Under 30 Shark Tank alum and founder of NightCap, Shirah Benarde, to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We are so happy that you're here, and it's good to see you again over Zoom. So
excited.
I'm glad we're doing it. But before we jump into all of the questions, I just want to say to you how much I admire you. And I've had the honor of being a guest on your podcast, In Your Dreams podcast. And I absolutely loved our conversation. And you've built something really, truly special. And I'm so excited for our listeners to hear your story.
Thank you, Ella. You're so sweet.
Of course.
I also had the honor of meeting you and your brother in person when you came to Boston to speak at Nichols College for 500 college students, which is incredible, about NightCap and about entrepreneurship. So seeing how passionate the two of you are about NightCap and helping others was incredible for me, and I'm sure incredible for all the college students. I'm still thinking about the caramel coffee that I had that day with you. Literally haven't stopped thinking about it. So I'm excited to get deeper today and talk about NightCap. So let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So of course, Ella and I are obsessed with NightCap. As you can see, it's on my drink today. But for anyone that's listening that hasn't heard of NightCap and probably needs it in their life, can you tell everyone what NightCap is and how you came up with the idea?
Absolutely. So NightCap is the drink spiking prevention company. It originated as just a drink spiking prevention scrunchie, and I started the company 5 years ago. I was 16. I had an older friend that had her drink spiked at the bar. And a few weeks later, I went to bed and slept on it because I thought of the idea in a dream. And when I woke up, I realized, this could be a life-saving invention. And so I ran around my house trying to find something to create a prototype because I didn't know how to vocalize what I was thinking. So I wanted to create a visual. I ran into my mom's closet. I cut up her stockings and an old scrunchie from my room and created the first prototype that became NightCap, and started just taking the first couple steps, like sitting down with a patent attorney, finding a local graphic designer to create some logos. My dad immediately said it's NightCap or Top Hat, and I was like, it's not going to be Top Hat. So,
I love it.
So, yeah, we came up with the name immediately right there when I sat down with my dad and created that prototype that day. And we have just been grinding ever since, but we had no idea what we were doing. We just had a product that we knew could save a lot of lives. And today we have an entire product line. We sell to over 200 universities in over 40 countries, and we're about to sell our millionth unit.
Incredible. Like we're so
like,
proud
it's
of you.
so
I mean, I know
amazing.
that's
I
weird to say
know.
for me, but I'm so proud of you. It's incredible. What were some of the challenges that you faced in the beginning? Because I'm sure there were challenges.
Yeah, I mean, the challenges were that nobody wanted the product, and people didn't understand that, they could talk about their drink spiking stories and
Right.
it would resonate with other people.
Mhm.
I think only until like our company started talking about this stuff, people have felt comfortable sharing online and
Absolutely.
talking to their friends. And we've created like this normalcy to being vulnerable, just how you guys have. And I think it started with education and people sharing their stories. So nobody wanted the product. Um, it's not that they didn't need it; it's that they just didn't, they'd never used something like it before. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
like I guess educating people and telling them that it's okay to protect yourself and take safety into your own hands. That's really when we started gaining more traction.
And that's the
I
key.
love it. And yes, I agree. It's the education. And again, like before it happened to me, I really didn't know like that it was as prevalent as it is. And I know it continues to today, but it's something that I think everybody just needs to be more educated on. I'm very lucky to have my mom and my dad and my parents and brother to continue to tell me to be bold and take chances. And if I fail, learn from it and get back up again and regroup. Were your parents really supportive during this whole process?
Yeah, my parents are not entrepreneurs at all. So when I created NightCap, they really loved it because it had such a good cause behind it. But they knew just as much as I did on what to do. But
Yeah.
being supportive definitely helped because they were always there. Like when, a lot of the people that we first reached out to were like friends of my dad, just like people he knew, like the local seamstress that we found, like he knew. I was only 16, so I didn't know that many adults that could help, but he did. And I know having a supportive parent it can get you very, very far. So thank
Yes.
you, Terry. We love you.
I know, we do.
Oh, well, I
Mwah.
love both of you. So, I think it is just such a unique concept. And when you obviously came up with it, it's something that wasn't out there. So, how did you gauge interest in the beginning? You said that no one was really interested in it. How did you kind of gauge that and figure out who was?
Yeah, and honestly, it really started with social media and just showing people that the product was out there and that it
Yeah.
existed and getting people's feedback on, you know, oh, like we saw a lot of people being like, how is this never invented? And I wish I had something like this when I was
Right.
in my 20s and 30s. And so once you have people giving good feedback, you have others seeing that and being like, okay, maybe we can normalize this kind of, putting something on your drink. And it still
Absolutely.
to this day can be, I don't know, frowned upon in some situations, but I think most of our audience has been through an experience or, doesn't, it's like, why would you care anymore? Because it's better to be protected than
Yes.
to care what, the guy at the bar is thinking about you.
Right.
And so,
100%.
My mom used to
like,
say,
yeah,
better safe than sorry. It's
Yes.
just,
exactly.
it's just that saying, right?
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
Um,
so TikTok really helped us get the product out there and spread awareness that it existed. And, like over the years, we've had so many people like you, Ella, who have come out and shared their stories, and their stories go viral. And then it's like, oh, maybe drink spiking is a problem. Maybe drink
Yep.
spiking is on the rise. This is something that I probably should worry about. Because I think for the longest time, we thought that it was just something you hear about
Yep.
when it happens once in a while,
right.
but that's obviously not the reality.
Right.
Yes.
So you were
100%.
on Shark Tank.
Oh,
What
yes.
was it like pitching at Shark Tank at just 17 years old? And how did you honestly prepare? Because I think there's a lot of young people that are, dying to go on Shark Tank. How did you prepare for such intimidating investors? That's scary.
Yeah, so scary. But I knew that this was also a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I didn't want the nerves to get to me. I wanted to really just like live in the moment and let it be also my time to enjoy and like take in because it's only about 30 minutes to an hour of your life that you get to experience that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, obviously I was nervous, but I think that didn't get to me as much. I was kind of just like, wow, this is an insane
Like, you're here, I'm
experience.
doing it.
Yes, exactly. Like
Right.
very present. My brother and I obviously went together, and since I was a minor, our dad got to come with us and share like a connecting room with us. So we were practicing for 10 days because we were the quarantine season.
Yep.
So we were
Got
in
it.
a hotel, locked in the hotel for that amount of time. And then, what do you do in a hotel room when you can't leave? It's like you're
Practice.
pitching for, yeah,
Practice.
exactly. 2, 3 hours practicing on one side of the room, and we're like working out on the other side of the room. And it was just like a constant cycle. So we watched every episode of Shark Tank.
Yeah.
We kind of had an idea of what they would ask us. We practiced our pitch a lot, and we were just really prepared and, obviously wanted to get a deal and wanted them to take us seriously because we were young and we had a product that, was serious. So
Hmm.
we tried to bring as much passion, and yeah, I mean, it was an insane experience.
And you did it. And you did
I
it.
know.
Yeah.
And you
So
did?
was there a
Yeah.
surprising shark? Like I'm always curious if like
Yeah.
any one of them was surprising or there was any like amazing advice that stuck out to you.
Yeah. I was surprised that I really enjoyed Mr. Wonderful. I thought his humor,
Really?
Oh, I
yeah,
love
I thought
that.
his humor was very funny and just like
Uh-huh.
witty. So he surprised me with that. I think the best advice, because you honestly black out when you're in there, like you forget everything because there's so
Yes.
much adrenaline. And so when you walk out, you're like, what just happened? So honestly, the only parts I remember is on the episode because I've watched it so many times.
Right.
Yeah.
But Barbara says to me on the way out, like, go to bed tonight. Maybe you'll think of more things when you're sleeping. And she was right. Like, I honestly find that I think of a lot of ideas in my sleep. So that was probably the best piece of advice I got
Oh,
there.
I
I
love
love
that.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, as a
Yeah.
young entrepreneur, were there any like stereotypes or age-based challenges that you had to overcome when starting in this business world?
Yeah. As a young entrepreneur, you're held back by yourself because you think that you're not old enough to do this. You're not
Yeah.
old enough to make the phone call. You're not old enough to walk into this room.
Yep.
And it's all such it's crap.
Yeah. It's not
It's just,
true.
it's really like the stigma. And I don't know why we're so culture, or
Age
what's the word for
biased.
it?
Age
Yeah,
biased.
yeah, like we have this there's we're taught that you have to act a certain way, you have to look a certain way, or like you have to fit this persona. And I think that for the longest time held me back. I was 16, 17, 18. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I don't
Yeah.
even know where to start. And so I kind of just figured out along the way that the more that I did for myself and for my business, I was like, I can do this.
Do
I
it.
can probably do this better than people that are older than me, you know?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
like destigmatizing like that you're too young or too old to do something was a really big challenge that I overcame.
And you did,
And you
because
did it
look at you
well.
now, 5 years in. It's insane. Well,
Yeah.
I will also say being featured in Forbes 30 under 30 is a huge
Huge.
milestone, like insane. So how did it feel to earn that recognition, and how did you like find out that you were being featured?
That was super cool because I also got to do that with Michael.
Yep.
And the last thing I feel like we did together was Shark Tank. And then that was like 4 years ago. This year we were nominated for the Forbes 30 under 30 retail and e-commerce in North America.
Oh,
And we were actually some of
congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, we were actually some of the youngest listers next to people like Jenna Ortega and like
Yep.
all like Livy Dunn, like all these cool people, and I was like, there's no way. So it was really cool to see our names up there, and it was really cool to be, they had like this whole dinner and we were around all these different entrepreneurs, and we got to just like hang out with people who are kind of like-minded and driven, and it was a really cool way to be recognized.
That's incredible. And you had a big win. You've worked with Forever 21 CEO Winnie Park, which is amazing. And NightCap is in all 400 Forever 21 stores. So
Huge.
for people that are looking up to you and saying, wow, she did it, she had this dream, how did you make that happen?
This is one of my favorite stories because it was so unexpected and it really shows you that you have to be ready for every situation, but also be able to put yourself out there.
Yep.
And with Winnie Park, I was at a conference about 2 years ago and she was speaking on a panel and I thought everything she said was just amazing. So I genuinely was like, I want to tell her that. And I walked up to her. Um, not all of the time do they have just speakers standing around.
Right.
They usually put them up in a room and they're like,
Yeah.
they're better than you. Don't talk to them,
Right.
Like they make you feel less than a little bit because they seclude them. And in this case, they weren't. They were right there. And so I walked up to her. I said, that was amazing. Like, here's a nightcap. And I told her my story pretty quickly. And she said, let's get this in the stores. I have a daughter, and I followed up a few times, and that's how we launched in all Forever 21s. It was incredible.
It's
And
because you took that chance.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's amazing. And that's the lesson for everyone listening is, shoot your shot, right?
Yeah, you literally never know what's going to happen. And I mean, you can do it. You can practice that with anyone, like just by going up and having a conversation and pitching yourself and talking about your story. You could do that so many times. So when that Winnie Park for you is in the room, like you're prepared.
Right.
And I think that's what I did.
Oh, I love it. That's like the best story. I know as like a part of a generation of very young leaders, or hopefully more young leaders to like today, what do you think is like the most important thing about entrepreneurship and some advice?
Yeah, I think the most important thing about entrepreneurship is just having the freedom to do what you are passionate about.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of us have the most access that we've ever had to information and people.
Yeah.
And it truly is the easiest time to start a business or just a side hustle, like a community, whatever it is. It's the easiest time to do it because you can reach so many people for free. And it's it's like in our blood. Like I swear we young people grew up in it, right? Like we're on social media. It's like if you're not making content or if you're not building something from it, you really are missing out.
Yeah.
And it's just a huge opportunity for young people that everyone should be taking.
Right.
I agree. I think it's so important too, just advice that I've gotten and kind of realized recently, especially with starting chasing red flags. Like you have to really stay focused on who you are because not everyone is going to like you and not everyone is going to support what you're doing, but you have to find that right community.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys have done such an amazing job with it, and your mission behind it is just so cool and it's so needed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So looking back a little bit, what's one thing you wish you could tell yourself when you started NightCap? Is there something that you'd go back and say, oh, I would do this? Is there any advice you'd also give young entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I would really say like trust your gut on opportunities and people, and you can't trust everyone. Like that's just
We know.
impossible. Not the best decision. And, a lot of people will try and sell you on something or be your friend because they want something from you.
Yep.
And I think like you have to actually ask yourself, is this something that I want, or is this the person that I want to be, in my life? And yeah, I think trust your gut more, and also like obviously step out of your comfort zone. I think when you step out of your comfort zone and do things that aren't the normal, like the universe or whatever you call it, will reward you. But yeah, I really think that the more things that I do that are different and uncomfy, I literally get rewarded for, and just in different ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because you're answering my other question, which is like, what would you say to other young people who have ideas and who feel like they want to take that leap but they're afraid to? And I feel like the
Yeah.
more you do, the more you feel a little uncomfortable and you push yourself, that's when you're going to get the rewards back.
And that you
Yeah,
guys
it's
believe in yourself, which you both do. I mean, I'm looking at two young, confident, beautiful women who believed in themselves and their mission. And that's really what it is. If you believe that you can do it, then you can do it.
Yeah.
yeah, and on top of what you guys are saying right now, I think all of this like get uncomfortable with the uncomfortable is or get comfy with the uncomfy is like so prevalent, but also go into it like how can which like Ella and I both did, and you as well, Terry. We went into it as looking at like if can I help one person?
Right.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to reach the whole entire world, but if you can help one other person then you're already winning and you're already one step ahead.
Right.
And if you can keep that mindset the entire way, like will that will fuel you, that will keep you going. And
And that's obviously
it
what
won't
keeps you
be
motivated.
Yes.
yeah, and it
Right.
won't be so overbearing because it can get stressful. Like, how am I supposed to reach everyone? And it's like, let's just simplify this and make one person's life easier no matter what it is.
Exactly.
As I mentioned earlier, I had the honor of being a guest on your podcast, In Your Dreams Pod, and I really loved our conversation. Can you tell us a little bit more about your podcast and what inspired you to start it and what do you hope to accomplish with it?
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of my friends were always putting people on a pedestal, whether it was influencers or business owners, and the way they would talk about them was, oh my God, that's so cool. I wish I could do that. And I always took a step back and was like, why does everyone look at these people who have like achieved their dreams as impossible or just not, like impossible, literally like putting them on a pedestal. And so I wanted to start in your dreams because I felt like I wanted to help just one person, literally,
Yep.
and see if you could, help somebody just change their perspective and like bring people on who have done the thing,
Yeah.
and taken the risk. It was worth it to me. And so I started putting out like weekly episodes about, I've had on just different CEOs and women entrepreneurs. And I had on someone who went on like American Idol and The Voice at 17. And we compared our stories of like going on that show at 17 versus Shark Tank and like
I
and
love it.
ageism and all that stuff. It was so fun. And I've had on, the seamstress who helped me build my first couple of prototypes. I had this season Winnie Park on the show, the
Right.
CEO of
Yep.
Forever 21. So it's definitely like built around my story, but the goal is to kind of show people like I did not know this, and this is what we've done,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's why I started it in your dreams because I had a dream
It's in
and
your
now we're
I
yeah.
love it.
I never put together that it would like all of this came to like you from a dream, so I love the name for that. Like it's
Right.
perfect.
Well,
Yeah, no, it literally, it came to me and I was like, oh, that's it. Like,
Done.
obviously.
yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
and you're very genuine in it. And when I met you and your brother, which I loved, by the way, it was super fun. You guys are both so genuine. So, and you have such a passion, and your passion for talking to college students and making a difference to me is what, we sparked a conversation based around that also. What do you hope college students get, and your own peers, to be honest, because you're young, get from your story and your nightcap journey?
Well, thank you. That's the best compliment ever. But I hope that college students get multiple things from us coming and speaking with them. I think the first thing is just, a lot of our presentation is about safety, and we talk about how the most common person to target you is somebody that
Someone
you
you know.
know.
You
And
know.
it's so crazy to
So
say
sad.
that and then kind
Crazy.
of see it's like you say that and then you see everyone kind of looking around the room like, that's weird. Like these are my
Yep.
friends. So I think I want a wake-up call, just people, students to understand this, you shouldn't always trust people
Yeah.
at pre-games or in intimate settings. And then on the other side, like look what we did when we were just students, like you could do
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's so important. So thank you for that message.
I will
Yeah.
say also, as you know, my mom is my business partner, and I love it, but it definitely adds a dynamic and a very unique layer to our relationship and our work relationship.
It does.
And sometimes it's very easy, and sometimes it's certainly not. So I have to ask, what is it like working with your brother? Do you have different roles? Like, how does it feel with like working with him?
Yeah, the way that we work together works because it works that we work together because we have such separate lanes.
Yeah.
Right.
And I am more of the creative front facing, and he's more of the back end operations. And that's why it works, I
Yeah.
think,
Right.
because we just have completely separate things going on. But there's definitely been bumps in the road where I'm like, all right, I'm going to dad about this. Like, seriously. And
It wouldn't
I
be
mean,
it wouldn't make sense if it didn't have those bumps
Yes,
in the
I feel
road.
like
That's
you
part
have
of
to
the
have a little
process,
of
right?
that.
yeah, yes, but he's really easy to work with. I don't know if he would say the same about me, but he really is easy to work with, and we're still like learning together. So I feel like every single day it's like still trial and error and still looking back and being like, okay, what can we do better? And
Right.
like
Yeah.
we're a team, right? Like you have to figure it out
Right.
and make sacrifices.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. I wouldn't work with anyone else probably the same.
I
So
feel the
yeah.
same way, Al.
Me too,
All
Mama.
right. So, through promoting NightCap, you've had the opportunity, which we've talked about, to connect with some pretty notable figures, some famous people. Has anyone in particular made an impression on you that you can
Like
think
a
of?
really lasting impact.
Yeah, I think two people, and I might be missing some because, well, I would say Winnie Park, period, CEO of Forever
Obviously.
21.
100%.
Like, she is
That
just the
podcast
most,
episode was incredible. So,
So
for anyone
good.
listening, listen to In Your Dreams Pod. That was
oh,
an
I'm
incredible
so glad you
episode.
guys liked it.
It was great.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I agree. I had like the best conversation with her, and I was so excited after. I was like, wow, she's just so amazing. But the two others, I would say Paris Hilton and Tyler
Incredible.
Cameron. Tyler Cameron, because
Oh,
He's just funny, right?
he's great.
he he came and said something to me at a time where I was really trying to like get the product out there, and like it was maybe a year or two in, and I had went to I don't know if you guys know about like the Bryce Hall Austin McBroom fight, super
Yes.
soon.
I don't know what you're
So
talking about, but
Mom,
Ella
you would have
does.
no idea, but I do. Yes.
So there was this fight that was happening in Miami. I don't care about fighting, but I knew there would be a lot of famous people there that I could give the nightcaps to. So I
Yep.
went with my friends and I brought a
Amazing.
bag of them. And, I snuck down into the section like I always do. And I gave a nightcap to Tyler Cameron and Harry Jowsey and whoever else was there. But I remember going back to my seat thinking nothing of it, just kind of going on with my night. And he came over and like taps me on the shoulder and was like, I just wanted to let you know, like, this is so amazing what you're doing for women. And as like a 17, 18-year-old, I'm looking up
Oh
at
my God,
Tyler and
you
I'm
must
like,
have died.
wow. Yeah. I'm
That's
like, wow,
amazing.
this is incredible. This is like that. Thank you for, going out of your way. You didn't have to do that. And so that definitely like gave me some power and some confidence for the next couple
Oh,
months.
But it
yeah.
also
I
goes
mean,
back to the fact that you take chances, that you're
yeah.
Mhm.
confident and you put yourself in those positions.
To
So
walk
I
down
give
there
you a
and
lot of
sneak
credit
down
too.
there and like do that and hand it to them. Like, I would be very nervous to do that, but I need to have more of that spark in me, you know?
Right.
Well, let me tell you this other story about Paris Hilton
I was
because
going to ask. I need to hear that.
if you think the Tyler Cameron story is good, just wait for this one. But I was in California by myself. I think I was 20, and I honestly had this gut feeling, and I was like, I want to go to California, and I did. So random. I was in Vegas with my friend. I think this was after the when I met Winnie Park. I was with my friend. I was like, I'm gonna go to California. Stayed in a hotel by myself. Saw some friends. Like I used to like traveling a lot by myself. I don't really like do that anymore, but I was there, right? And I'm working from a coffee shop, and I see on Instagram that there's this like Amazon influencer event going on, day 3. And I'm like, oh, I did not realize that there were more than a few days of this. So
Yeah.
I see that it's going on 30 minutes away at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and I shut my computer at this coffee shop. I said,
Go.
I'm out. I
I
walked back
love
to
it.
my hotel. I put this like lacy white dress on that like, you have to play the part a little bit.
Of
So
Of
I
course.
course.
so I put this dress on and I call an Uber to the Beverly Hills Hotel. Have no invite, nothing. I just know that this event's happening. And I saw like Alex Earl was there the day before, so I'm like, oh, I'm really excited. Like, who am I gonna see? And I get there, and there's a list at the door, and I'm like, oh, okay. And
I'm the CEO of
I'm like,
NightCap, though.
Yeah.
I kind of finagled it where I was like, oh, like I sell these products on Amazon, like this is an Amazon event. My team told me to come. Like my friend dropped me off, so just let me
Brilliant.
know. Like my friend dropped me off. Let me know soon if I can't come down because I'll just tell them to come pick me back up.
Brilliant.
No friend dropped me off. And so 5 minutes later, I don't know how, I'm like standing there super confident. They're like, okay, you're good to go down. So I start walking down the stairs. I walk in. Everyone's already seated. I think this event had been going on for like 2 or 3 hours. I get there. They're all waiting for somebody to come out. And Paris Hilton walks out on the stage and starts talking about her Amazon like cookware and stuff. I'm
Hmm.
literally like, I'm like having this girl zip up my dress. And she's like, I'm so excited for Paris to come out. And I'm like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, like Paris. Paris Hilton walks out, talks for 10 minutes. I'm freaking out because I'm like, how did I get in here? I don't
Yeah.
even live in California. I just like sent it and I'm here. And she's right there. And I had remembered a few months prior to this, Paris Hilton was in my, like, the stories about her were in my email because she had been roofied when she was 15.
Right.
Yep.
And it was all connecting in my head. I have to get her a nightcap. I have to get this in her hands. And she ends up, it starts like kind of raining. She walks off the stage. People are start like taking photos with her in this room. I line up to go. I'm next in line, and her team literally puts their hand in my face and they're like, no, no more photos. And I'm like, no, no, no. Like, I
I
have
don't.
to get her this nightcap. I have
Yes.
to. And they're like, no, we literally don't care. And Paris starts walking away, and I literally shouted her name. I'm like, Paris. And she turns around and I go, this is a nightcap. It prevents you from drink spiking. It's also a scrunchie. And she goes, do you want to come back here with me? I said, yes.
Yes.
Shut up.
I pick up all my things. I walk to this room with her. It's literally just me and her, like, and her team just taking photos and stuff. Me and her talking. I'm telling her all about Nightcap and the story and Shark Tank. She's like, I love Lori, da 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 da. And she gave me so much time and she was so present and
Yeah.
loved the concept. And I, had a little bit of background on her and I was like, I know that you've had an experience and like we're trying to save people from this happening. And she just like her just being there and giving me that opportunity to talk to her
It was the
Absolutely.
changed
validation
my,
also.
yeah,
Yeah.
it changed my perspective on everything. And I was like,
Oh.
this is what I mean by getting uncomfortable and you're rewarded.
Yep.
Yep.
And you showed up for
Wow.
yourself.
I
You
know.
showed up, you took a
All by
chance.
yourself too. Like that's just amazing.
So, for anyone listening that wants to be an entrepreneur or wants to start a business or is in any aspect of their life, if you believe in something and you take the chance, look what happens. You know,
Oh my God, that's
Unreal.
the best story ever.
Amazing.
Wow. Oh,
It
that's
was
amazing.
crazy.
So,
It
before
was
we
crazy.
wrap up, right, we need to ask
Yes.
about red flags.
Oh, of course.
So, what are your biggest red flags in yourself?
Wow. Okay. Well, I think my biggest red flag in myself would be that I self-sabotage sometimes.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
sometimes I think that I can like tell myself a different narrative than what's actually going on. And it prevents me from walking into a room or talking to someone or just seeing things in a different way. And
Yeah.
so I can definitely get in my own way sometimes, but we're working on it.
That's a
you know
good
what? That's a
one.
great answer. And we've
Yeah.
asked a lot of people that question. We have not heard that one,
have
but
not
I
heard that
now
answer.
think that since other people have heard that, they'll be like, oh, I might self-sabotage too. I think you might a little bit too, Ella. That's
Okay, and then what are your biggest red flags in somebody else?
So I pay very close attention to how people like give and take, or how people treat you when they first meet you. Is it like overly possessive or
Yep.
but I think yeah, just manipulation and not being genuine.
Yep.
I like that.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my biggest red flag.
Those are great ones. Wow.
Thank you for being
I know.
so
Thank
vulnerable.
you so much.
Of course.
This is incredible. It's been such a great interview, and we
I know.
appreciate you sharing everything about NightCap. Your journey's been incredible.
We appreciate you being here.
Thank you guys so much for having me and for continuing to literally fight the good fight.
Stay tuned because Shirah will be back for part 2 next week, and we're going to dive deeper into the issue that hits very close to home and how NightCap is helping the fight for drink spiking and the epidemic that's going on. It's a very big personal mission for me, and I know that it is for her as well, so I can't wait to share more of Shirah's insights and all of the incredible work that she's doing to make this world a safer place for us.
We'll have another great conversation and provide you with some amazing tips on keeping yourself safe, especially as we get into holiday season. That's today's episode. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you'll join us next week.
And in the meantime, keep being real, keep being you, and know that we've got your back. If you have any thoughts, questions, or just want to say hi, we would love to hear from you. Your support means everything to us. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Chasing Red Flags Official, and on Facebook and YouTube at Chasing Red Flags. And if you want to share your story, ask a question, or pick up some Chasing Red Flags merch, go to chasingredflags.com. The Chasing Red Flags podcast is produced by Jay Del Turco. We are new in this space, so if you enjoyed what you're hearing, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or add a comment and like on our YouTube channel.